Hey, this is Michael J with This Old Car, and today we take a look at the top 15 cars of the 1970s that had the sexiest rear ends. Yeah, come on, if you're a classic car buff, you know, cars were sexy, right? So let's kick it off with the Chevrolet Corvette Sting Ray. Although, and I'm talking 1972 for this one here specifically, they're pretty badass. Although they didn't have the split rear window like earlier models, the Corvette's curvaceous rear fenders added a touch of aggression, if you will. The pronounced curves gave the car a muscular and sporty look. The four round taillights were a distinctive feature that became a signature design element for the Corvette. They not only enhanced the car's visual appeal, but also provided a sense of symmetry and balance. Up next, the Plymouth Roadrunner for, this is 1970. The Roadrunner had a bold, aggressive design with a muscular rear end, large rear spoiler, and distinctive taillights. Its no-frills performance-oriented appearance emphasized power and also speed.
A famous European sports car designer compares the 71 Mustang to Europe's great road cars.
Holy smoke! Hey, Cabello, that's European road cars.
No, sir, this is our new Mustang Mach 1, one of 6 completely new models for 71.
Coming up next, the Ford Mustang Mach 1. This is going to be for 1971. A sporty look with a sleek rear end and spoiler. Production years 69 through 1978 for the Mach 1 variant. The Mach 1 featured a sports roof fastback body style with a matte black hood treatment, hood scoop, rear deck spoiler, and unique graphics. Its aggressive stance and sporty lines made it a standout.
GTO, Pontiac.
Hey, up next, the Pontiac GTO for 1970. Yeah, I had a neighbor of mine who had one, and man, this thing would roar in and roar out. This guy would tear it up on the streets. Production years were 64 through 74 for the Pontiac GTO. Exterior features, well, the GTO had a muscular and aggressive design with a wide stance, flared fenders, and prominent front grille. The interior for the GTO, well, it was upscale, if you will, with bucket seats, a sporty steering wheel, and a well-organized dashboard. Let's take a look at the Dodge Challenger for 1970. Long hood and aggressive styling with a distinctive rear end. Production years were 1970 through 1974. The Challenger's design was characterized by its long hood, wide stance, and bold lines. The rear end featured large taillights and an integrated spoiler, giving it an aggressive look. Up next, the AMC Javelin. 1971 was the year that had the best rear end. Now, what do you think? Fill me in, leave your comments below, because I know there's going to be a ton of people saying, "Why'd you pick that car, man? You should have picked this car." So let me know what car should have been on the list. The Javelin had a sleek aerodynamic design with a long hood and short deck and a distinctive fender flares. The rear end was sporty and aggressive with integrated taillights. Coming up next, the Buick Regal for 1973. The Regal had an elegant and luxurious design with a long hood, wide stance, and refined lines. The rear end featured stylish taillights and a chrome-accented bumper. Hey, real quick, let me plug my eBay store. If you're a car buff, a classic car buff, or maybe, you're into new cars, we have the poster for you inside our eBay store. It's Payless Posters. Check it out. We have the link in the comments below and in the description. It's Payless Posters for your favorite classic car. And we know if you're watching this video, you like classic cars. Hey, up next, the Plymouth Superbird for 1970. The Superbird was an aerodynamic marvel with a distinctive nose cone and a towering rear spoiler design for NASCAR racing. And you know, this neighbor of ours, she would have her grandson come over to visit every now and then back in the 70s. And I was 7 years old, 8 years old. And this guy would come over in one of these 1970s Superbirds. Man, it scared the heck out of us. Me and my twin brother would hop inside the house because I'm like, what the heck is this with that rear thingamajigger sticking out the back of the car, you know? You know, they really didn't sell well back in the 70s. You either hated them or loved them. Of course, now you can't even find one, right, for sale. Hey, up next, the Chevrolet Chevelle SS for 1970. You know, the Chevelle SS had a muscular and aggressive design with a long hood, flared fenders, and a black rear bumper insert with the SS logo. It featured bold styling and a powerful stance. Up next, the Oldsmobile 442 for 1970. Bold rear design with a prominent bumper and taillights. Production years 64 through 1971 for the 442 variant. You know, the Oldsmobile 442 featured a bold and aggressive design with a prominent front grille, flared fenders, and dual exhaust. The rear end had distinctive taillights and a sleek bumper. Hey, up next, the Pontiac Firebird for 1970. Not my favorite, although it did make the list. Production years were 1967 through 2002. The Firebird had sleek and a sporty design with a long hood. The rear end featured stylish taillights and a clean aerodynamic look from behind. Hey, up next, the Chevrolet Camaro for 1970. This was the competition for the TA back in the day. The Camaro had an aggressive design with a long hood, bold lines, and a wide stance. You know, the rear end featured prominent taillights and a sporty bumper, giving it a powerful look. So what's your take? Did you like the rear end of the Camaro or the Firebird for 1970? Leave your comments below because I'm just curious. Up next is the Ford Torino for 1970. Production years 1968 through 1976. You know, the Torino had a stylish design with a long hood, wide stance, and distinctive lines. The rear end featured bold taillights and a prominent bumper, giving it a refined look. Hey, up next, the Dodge Charger for 1970. Production years 1966 through today. They're still selling the Dodge Charger. The rear end featured large taillights and an integrated spoiler, giving it a sporty and powerful appearance. Hey, the last one on the list, and just keep in mind, these were not in order of, the best. These were just the top 15 cars, but the last one on my list here is the Pontiac Grand Prix for 70. The rear end featured bold taillights and a prominent bumper, giving it a luxurious look. You know, my preference would have been the 1977 and 1976. More so the 1977. What's your preference? I know 78 is when they went down to little mini-me's. So what's your preference? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, that wraps up the top 15 cars that we celebrated for their performance and striking rear end designs, making them icons of the 1970s American sports car era. Hey, what car from the 1970s had the best looking rear end? I want to know. Leave your comments below. Hey, don't forget our eBay store for classic car posters. If you're a classic car buff, check out the eBay store. Hey, also almost going on 4 years. I want to thank our subscribers for, riding with us all these years. Hey, if you're not a subscriber, help us out a little bit here. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Hey, this is Michael J. with This Old Car. We'll catch you next time.